What's going on, Sports Wars? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost and GeeksGamers.com, and without question, Megan Rapinoe is one of the most unlikable people in sports. From kneeling for the national anthem to the constant complaining about the gender gap, the pay gap that doesn't exist because female soccer players actually get paid more and compensated more than their male counterparts, to the preaching constantly about politics and virtue signaling and social justice over and over again. People despise Megan Rapinoe, which is probably the reason why I got tagged so many times in this news today. Canceled. Woke soccer player Megan Rapinoe left off U.S. women's team roster. Now, I think that it's a little bit premature potentially to say that Megan Rapinoe's career is over when it comes to U.S. women's soccer. But you have to admit she is getting older. She has not been as effective. They've been playing her less and less over the years. And finally, inevitably, that day will be up sometime. But what people are really talking about today is the roster that is really the roster that's out there for Team USA, and Megan Rapinoe is absent. The wokest of all U.S. national sports teams just got a little less woke. U.S. women's national team head coach Vlatko Adanovsky has called up a roster that features youth and players on the team will rely on in the future. It does not, however, feature noted U.S. women's national team anthem protester Megan Rapinoe. There she is. I fucking cannot stand this bitch. She probably knew early on that her career was, winding down. She wanted to make sure she got some of those Kaepernick endorsements, some of those woke social justice endorsements. And you gotta be honest, that did happen for her. That worked out for her. She followed the Colin Kaepernick route. So good job, Megan Rapinoe. Everyone despises you, but I'm sure you got paid from a woke company. U.S. women's national team mainstay Alex Morgan was also left off the roster. So it's not just her. Alex Morgan's not on there either. Rapinoe and the rest of the U.S. women's national team struggled through an extremely disappointing 2021 Olympic performance. And we know that. We talked about it. We covered it here on the channel. When they did all this talk and they basically thought it was guaranteed they were going to get gold, they decided to kneel for the national anthem. They decided to protest for social justice and equality. And of course, they lost. Their heads weren't in the game. Their hearts weren't in the game. They were doing more talking about how much they were getting paid and ended up embarrassing this country again. They barely won the bronze medal when they were eschewing overwhelming favorites to win the gold medal. An embarrassment is what this soccer team is in more ways than one. Perhaps then it's no surprise the coach decided to go a different route. All these players are very good players. We know they've done so much for this team. But right now I want to give a chance to players like Sophia Smith and Mal Poog and Katrina, all these players that I don't fucking know. Players that have earned their spot on the national team or earned their spot back. I want to give them maximum minutes or whatever minutes they earn so we can evaluate every aspect of their game in the training environment or game setting. The coach hastened to add, it doesn't mean Rapinoe's national team career is over. It doesn't mean all these players that have done well in the past are just going to come back here in the next camp because they've done well a year or two or 2 years ago. So, she's a captain of that team or was a captain of that team. I would be a little surprised if this was just the end, but it is an indication of just how much people despise her. It's also a reminder that she is getting old, that eventually, inevitably, she is going to have to retire at some point. And I think that'll be a net positive for the U.S. women's national team, to be honest with you, because she's a disgusting human being. She is. She's someone who lies constantly. She is a terrible look. You had people from Subway call so they wouldn't have to use her image anymore because that's how badly she was turning people off. Like, no one likes Megan Rapinoe. And when she is gone, it will be a positive for the women's national team. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is the last time we've seen this freak? This is the last time we've seen Megan Rapinoe, who hates this country, who wants to blame men for all her problems, who wants to blame Republicans for all her problems. Is that the last we've seen of her? Let me know in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.